Claude, let's just get right into it. Our guest today on Rise to Mastery is Claude Diamond. He's the author and creator of the G.U.T.S sales method. He is a mentor and his clients in 14 different countries on how to give good phone sales. Okay, he lives in Winter Park, Colorado, San Diego, California. I've lived there before as well. Pinehurst, North Carolina, and even Maui. So welcome to the show, Claude Diamond.
Hey, Cameron, thank you for inviting me. This is a pleasure.
So, Claude, you have so much knowledge and so many different things that I want to dive into you with. And even in our pre-interview, there was so much stuff that we were talking about.
Yeah, we have nothing to talk about, right?
I don't even know where to start. It's kind of like the business owner who wants to do everything and sell everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a kid in a candy store here. But let's start off with what you're doing right now with your live audience, because Kenny and I with Rise to Mastery, we all wanted to incorporate some of that as well. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now with the people who are following you.
Well, I mentor people in business, real estate, my G.U.T.S sales training, and about 2-3 years ago, we started getting into the marketing. We saw that most of the gurus out there were still training people in the very old type of marketing methods, postal mailings, yellow letters, postcards, email blasts, things like that, hanging up signs. And we started getting into social media marketing, using the Facebook and the Twitter, and as it evolved into Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchat. But what has been going on the last 100 days is revolutionary, Cameron. We now have what is called live streaming, where anybody with an iOS or Android device, or even a laptop, can actually broadcast to people live on video and interact with them texting back and forth. So if you have a topic, or you want to talk about your sales training business, and you want to talk about how to make cold calls, I can schedule it online. And right now I am simultaneously broadcasting on Meerkat and Periscope. People are watching me, and if they want to interact, I can't do it right now because we're being interviewed, they can send me texts and ask me questions. Then something else happened just about 2 months ago that I became aware of. It's called Blab.im. It stands for Instant Messenger. And Blab started to have the conference call where 4 people, including the moderator and 3 other people, could simultaneously see each other in a video on their iPhone, on their laptop, on Chrome, and still interact by texting the remainder of the people who want to come on. So now we have a device we can do, and this is all free, by the way. Everything I've said is free. And what I discovered is that I can do different topics, try to make them contemporary and interesting, occasionally even humorous. And people discover Claude Diamond by watching him or interacting with him, texting, or coming on the video on Blab. And I have this marketing is revolutionizing businesses like yours and mine, because people are discovering us. They're finding out of the books we write, the services we provide. And now, and it doesn't cost anything, Cameron. It's free.
Right.
All it costs is time.
So, man, we actually just heard about Blab from another interviewee that we had on the show recently. And I didn't know what it was. It was completely new to me. And now you came on and you're mentioning it and you just love it. Let me ask you this, though. With Blab, and by the way, for everybody listening, typically we do interviews with the people and we want them to share their knowledge, but this stuff is so useful for my business and for really any other business out there. I'm just going to interview Claude as if I was asking him questions to help build Rise to Mastery.
Sure.
So I hope everybody who's listening, right now enjoys it. But if you don't, just know that this is going to help our podcast get better. So,
well,
but do you use Blob? Do you use the Blob and Periscope and the Meerkat all at the same time, or is it something that you use Periscope at the right time, you use Blab at the right time? How does it work?
Blab, BLAB.im is, right now I'm using Meerkat and Periscope. I'm not using Blab because Blab is more video interactive, and I wanted to keep this conversation is between you and I. I didn't want to be distracted with too many other people coming on the video. The thing about it, all these things are new. It's revolutionary, not evolution. It's amazing what is going on now. For people in business, they can can get fantastic quality leads. We picked up 2 weeks ago a 5-figure corporate account from my gut sales training business. I train people in sales with a very unique method. I'm always looking for people to discover me. My marketing philosophy is I'm a secret. Nobody woke up this morning and said, "Hey, I want to call up Claude Diamond or Cameron Benson and give them a lot of money to learn about their sales program," unfortunately. So I have to put out contemporary, compelling content on a consistent basis. These new technologies like Blab, which is video interactive, and Meerkat and Periscope, which is also video and texting interactive. These are all new applications that work on the iOS and mostly the Apple devices there, although I understand the Android is coming on board pretty soon. This is a way for me to have people ask me questions. I can pick a topic. Like today, the topic was live podcast interview on sales and marketing, which is exactly what we're doing. We have 22 people right on Meerkat right now from all over who are watching and trying to learn about, like you're interviewing me, on these different technologies. The thing about it is, I picked up a new 5-figure client who discovered me on a Meerkat broadcast 2 weeks ago. Okay, that person said, "I really liked what you said. It resonated with me." I said, "Let's have an appointment on Skype," which is another video technology I use for training. We talked for about 40 minutes, and I had a brand new contract, a brand new client as a result of that. Is that good marketing or what, Cameron?
That's all because it's not like you're going out of your way or you're doing something that's hard. All you're doing is just sharing the knowledge and expertise that you already have in a medium in which people can easily access it, and then that just happens to lead to a new client. But it's not like you were doing it just so you can get a 5-figure client, right? You were just out there sharing what you already know about your industry.
Well, do you want me to tell you the truth or lie?
We always want the real.
I'm sorry.
Want the real stuff. We want the truth.
The truth is, this is marketing. I want people to discover me. I want to make more money. I want to get more clients, and this is a great way of doing it. So, while there is a certain amount, I love sharing and sharing information with people. This is pure marketing. There is a cost involved, not in terms of monetary, but you have to do this consistently. You have to be constantly putting out this information. It has to be contemporary. It has to be compelling, and you have to be a little bit of a ham. Okay, you've got to people. Nobody wants to watch me drinking coffee all day. They want to get topics that relate to their business, about sales, about marketing, social media, whatever area of expertise I have. I want maybe some stories. There's no limit to what people can do depending on their business, where they can put out information, and it's got to be non-commercial too, Cameron, by the way. This is real 2016 soft sell. Millennials don't like commercials. They don't like pop-ups. They don't like salespeople who say, give me, trust me, trust me.
Right. I mean, technically I'm a millennial. I think there's like some crazy stat out there how millennials don't consider themselves millennials, which is typical millennial.
I love millennials. Millennials are changing the world as we speak.
Right, and I think you're absolutely right. And we want to use the technology to interact with whatever it is we are doing, right? We want to use Twitter, we want to use Google, we want to use Periscope, Meerkat, and Blab to interact with the people that we're going to be doing business with. Right?
Absolutely. I am blowing away. Listen, I'm a little schnook who works in nice homes in different places. I don't have a big fancy office building because I don't want one. I don't want 50 employees because I've been an employee. I'm unemployable. I've been working from my home office for 30 years. I just want, how do I compete against people who have $1 million advertising budgets, who have fancy location office buildings, who have a lot of people, fancy reception areas and everything? People have to discover me and say, hey, something about this guy resonated with me. I think he has good information. I think I can trust him. I think I maybe even like him, God forbid. And that's how do I break through the barrier with all this monster competition? Social media changes everything for people in in business today, and it's evolving. The biggest problem for me is it's changing. There's new companies, new ideas, new methodologies coming out all the time, and we have to stay on top of it. You're a lot younger than me, and I know about some things that you don't know that you're learning today, and hopefully some of your audience.
Absolutely. But I got to challenge you here for a second.
Good.
Because one thing that I see all the time, because I work with lots of different business owners and I work with lots of different entrepreneurs, and they always say, Cameron, hey, have you heard about this? Can you do this? Can you teach me about this? How do I use this for my business? And all the new stuff is great. You just told me about Blab literally 20 minutes ago, and for our live class, we're going to start using Blab. But just because some new technology comes out, I don't think it's always best for people just to dive with both feet in and just start committing to it 100%.
You know, I agree with you. There's a lot of junk that comes out every day. We're inundated with new applications. How many applications can we put on our iPhone or Android? And we find out, God, this is garbage. But what we're discovering today, what we've learned from millennials, that word of mouth is back through technology. People tell us what's a good restaurant, what's a dirty restaurant, what's a good hotel, what's the right application. And this technology is word of mouth on steroids. People tell other people because it's all hooked up to Twitter. It's all disseminated through these other applications. The thing about Blab is it hit me when I saw the results, and I see more people are going to my webpage because every week I'm putting out I'm doing new topics and conversations. And all of a sudden, I have 500 people on Blab. A couple weeks ago, I had none. Now I have 500 people. When I do a topic about how to make all cold calls into warm, and I put that out there, and I schedule it on Blab or Meerkat, and people click on it to get a reminder on their phone, and they get this little notification banner because it's tied into Twitter. So then they say, oh, Claude's on in 5 minutes. They click on their phone. Maybe they're sitting in the car. They can listen to me. Maybe they're traveling somewhere. Maybe they're running and they want to listen. This is changing everything. And so it's one of those things, it's just right. You knew this was revolutionary. You knew this was the right thing to do right away. Whereas sometimes you get into something, you get excited and you say, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. This thing right away, all these new ideas, and they're changing and evolving and they're adding new tweaks to it. But man, I saw it work already because I'm getting clients. I'm monetizing this technology for my business.
First thing that I heard you say in there, you mentioned it a little bit earlier as well, is that when you first started with Blab, it was about the consistency. Because lots of times people who want to try something new, that they're doing that. They're just trying. If you know who Yoda is, there's do or do not. There is no try. So it's about that consistency first. And then secondly, sometimes there is a situation where a piece of technology comes along where, like you said, it's revolutionary, right? i.e. Dropbox, when Twitter first came out.
Sure.
YouTube, when those things do come along, it's okay to jump all over it, especially if you're in the forefront of it.
Yeah.
So, I think that's awesome. And again, hello to all of your audience who's listening with us live.
Yeah, hey guys, we now have about 200 people listening to this podcast, which you have not even uploaded yet.
It's not. That's literally what I was just thinking. Whenever we do these interviews, I always write notes to myself so I can remember in the future for when we do our show notes and all that good stuff. But I was just thinking to myself, your audience is listening to this probably 2 or 3 weeks before it's even going to go live to Rise to Mastery.
See, guys, you stick with Claude Diamond, you get to listen to Rise to Mastery before their regular subscribers.
And you know what? I'm thinking to myself, this is live now. This is no fluff, no buff. This is really live. But listen, here's my thought, Claude.
This is authentic.
That's a great value add for our audience, right? Because our audience wants more information, and they know that we can't do the interviews every single day back to back because we just want to be able to keep up with it. Life comes in the way, and then you'll get behind, and then that's where quote unquote pod fading, comes from, where you try to keep up with something, you do it every single day, but you just can't. But as a great value add to our audience, if we were to do something like this where they could just jump on a Periscope or a Meerkat and listen to us to do the interviews live, then they can do things that they weren't able to do with regular podcasts, right? They can interact with our guests. They can ask you questions via us. And I think that's freaking awesome.
This technology is addictive. I gotta tell you, I'm on these different Peerkat and Meerkat and Periscope and Blab. I'm on these every day because there are some people that are so knowledgeable who are teaching me. Okay, the one thing I know about my business is that you never stop learning. I teach people, but I still continue on learning. And hi there, Bernard, and I'm just interacting with some of the people coming on. And I'm still learning, and I listen to these experts and these other people on any topic you want: news, health, food, business, sales, marketing, you name it. There's somebody leading an interactive conversation right now that you can join into. And people love the recognition. When they come on here, I say hello to them. Hi, Tom. Hi, Mary. Hi, Sean Osby. Hello, Mr. Trucking. These are people who are on right now, and they are asking me questions or things like that, which I can't answer because it's an interview. Normally, I would interact with them. I would respond to their texts. And if it was on Blab, I could actually invite them to come on to a live video where my audience could see them and see me. It adds another dimension. Here's the thing about podcasting. This is going to change podcasting for you, Cameron. Did you know that?
Shh. Don't give up my secret.
Okay.
Don't give up my secret.
Okay. The thing about it is, these are automatically recorded for me now in audio and in video. Blab automatically records it and sends me an email after this is done, if I wanted to, in audio form and video. I could then take the audio, upload it to my podcast. I could take the video and cross-pollinate it to YouTube. Then I could link it to Facebook, Twitter, and all this other social media. So one little interview that I'm doing today on RiseToMastery.com, I can blast out to the universe, and people will say, "Hey, Claude, I heard about I want a copy of your book, The Mentor Teaches the Gut Sales Method. You said you'd send it to me for free." And all of a sudden they're discovering me, they're reading me, they're watching my 250 videos on YouTube, and they're saying, "Hey, I like this guy," or "I don't like this guy," or "He has some good ideas," or "I want to see his newsletter or read his free book." This is marketing 2016, Cameron. Forget about the email blasts and all the other stuff out there. That is secondary. This is primary marketing for anyone in business today, as long as, here's the caveat, it has to be consistent. It has to be compelling, interesting, humorous, as I said earlier. Okay, and you have to make it so people want to sign up and continue to follow you. What is he going to say next? Who's his next interview? What's the next topic from this guy? And you get a following. Okay, what's the word all you guys are using? Organic following. People who are following me, and maybe they're retweeting me to their friends and saying, "Hey, I discovered this crazy Claude guy about gut sales. You got to listen to this guy. He's on 1-2 times a day on Meerkat and Periscope." Do you see what's happening to marketing through all this new technology?
It's absolutely crazy. I can tell you right now, live, for the people listening, not the people who are listening to on podcasts, but you've just changed our podcast business in 2 ways. First way is that we're going to be using Blab now because of you. We also recently had an interview where someone else talked about Blab, and then kind of offline or outside of the interview, another person told us about Blab. So we're definitely going to be using Blab for our live cast.
Oh, I converted you.
Yeah, you absolutely. Every week, Kenny and I, we actually do a live cast where we talk about the guests, talk about some of the topics that was covered over the week, and that's actually our podcast as well for that day. Those come out every Saturday. So instead of doing it with the Google Hangouts, we're actually going to be using Blab for that. You directly converted me right now in the last 20 minutes we've been talking. Okay, so that's the first way.
Should we talk? Go ahead.
The second way.
You're cracking me up.
Right now, I just came up with this idea live while talking to you, that for the people who come and they join our mailing list and things like that, and they share our podcast with others, they're actually going to get the ability to sign up and come join a podcast live.
Yeah.
with us.
Yeah.
Exactly the way you're doing it right now. And I think, because I was always trying to think, we had a great interview with a guy, Travis Steffen, and he is just a monster in the tech. He started multiple businesses. He sold multiple businesses. And we had a great talk with him about viral marketing. And he said viral marketing is not just about, a YouTube video that everybody watches for 2 weeks. He said viral marketing is actually the people in your tribe going out and sharing your message, and they want to share it. And you can't just do that by giving them money or just giving them the free ebook. That was 1996.
Exactly.
In 2016, it's about giving them more value. And I was trying to think of a way, like, okay, I like his idea about that, but how can we do that with the podcast specifically? And I think what you're doing right now is a great way to do it.
Yeah, the trouble with the podcast is your audience is listening, and there's some people who are dying to ask questions. And actually, as the moderator, I'm a moderator as you are, Cameron. Sometimes we don't ask the right questions, and our audience, there's some geniuses out there. The audience has great questions, and and we can feed that to the person we're interviewing, or on the topic. Say we're on Blab and the video box is full with 3 other people. They can funnel questions to the different people who are on video at the time, or on Meerkat they can text their videos to us. So there's so many. We haven't even discovered all the uses of this. All I can tell you is that I used to spend $10,000 a month on marketing. Okay, in the old days, in the Stone Age, we did print media. The New York Times, Success Magazine, Entrepreneur Magazine, all things, mailers, things like that. Easy. Every mailer cost me $20,000 in the postal mail. Then we started switching to You've Got Mail, email, okay? Now, who wants email anymore? All we want to do is clean out our spam box and all the junk and everything, okay? So email doesn't have the effect anymore in terms of marketing unless you have a very dedicated organic list. And then now we can put out content, good, compelling, consistent, contemporary content, good information in our area of specialty. We can interact with people, and they're gonna say, I like Cameron. I want to read his book. I want to watch more of his podcast. He's a good guy. I want to subscribe. I want to sign up. This is the way you build up from the grassroots a beautiful, organic, loyal following of fans who want to buy your products and services, and they will tell their friends about you through word of mouth, through social media. All this takes is time. It doesn't cost you anything. I'm not spending 6 figures a year anymore in marketing, but it does take up time. That's the downside to get balance to this interview.
Right. And time is our most valuable asset. We spend a lot of time talking about that on Rise to Master, because it's not just about the money. It's not just about, the profits and building a IPO launch and all that kind of good stuff. That's fun, but time is our most valuable asset, and that has to be taken into consideration.
Sure. But the thing is, what's your strength? The thing is, if you're a writer, do a blog, okay? If you're good at audio and interviews, do a podcast. If media, I got a face made for radio, so naturally I'm doing all this video, and I got 250 YouTube videos out there. But people are discovering the content; they're getting it. You've got to keep it short, to the point, non-commercial. This is what we've learned from millennials. Let's get rid of all the fluff and the pop-up banners and all the BS that is out there, and let's do it. You know what? The thing that strikes me, I do a lot of public speaking and workshops and things like that, and I listen to the other gurus and people out there, and they're scared to death of social media. Why is that, Cameron?
I think it's because they don't want to get killed. It's like they don't want people to realize that, they're not authentic. They're not really trying to connect with their audience. They're just trying to make a quick buck.
And that's changing. People, they're saying, give me, trust me, trust me. That BS doesn't work anymore with people under the age of 40. They want veracity. They want accountability. They want to say, I say in every broadcast I do, call me. I answer my own phone. If I can't answer the call, I call them back personally. If you want to check my references, God bless you, check them. Dun & Bradstreet, Better Business Bureau. You want to speak to my clients, go ahead. We need this transparency, and this is what this social media is doing right now. So for people who are hardworking, honest, have great materials and information. We love this stuff. The emperor has no clothes. Go ahead. To me, I always say, why would you do business with somebody who's scared to put their phone number on their webpage? What do you think, Cameron?
Well, I don't have my phone number on my webpage.
Bad. We'll change that. We'll change that.
So
there's somebody out there right now, Cameron, who wants to give you a sack full of money, but they're going to hear this interview and they say, I like this Benson guy. Let me call him up and talk to him for 5 minutes. Don't you have 5 minutes for somebody to give you 5 figures today for your coaching program?
I always do have time. I always have 5 minutes for a new client.
Put out your phone number. It's not, what are we talking about here? People who have heard you want to speak with you. Why won't we make that easy for them? Why are we hiding with emails and I want you to fill in all this information here and trust me that I won't email you and spam you all day long. I have that on my webpage too, but I also say, call me. I answer my own phone. I want to talk to people. This sounds so silly to me because guess what happens, Cameron, if I speak to enough people every day?
You get more sales. It's a numbers game.
Mrs. Diamond gets a brand new Cadillac. Okay?
Miss Diamond sounds like she likes new Cadillacs.
Miss Diamond, I've been married 29 years to my high school girlfriend. Do you know how to have the best marriage in the world?
No, sir, I do not.
Can I use a bad word, or are we GP rated?
We're gas rated, so
okay. You have to make in order to have a perfect marriage, you have to make an S load of money and give it all to your wife, and maybe she'll share it with you. Okay. And that's the secret of success and giving good phone, talking to people. So I'm big on sales, and I don't think today's the day I don't know if we have time to talk about sales, but we need to get a lot of leads first, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the way.
It's all about prospecting. You can only judge your ability to sell based on how many people you get in the door to pitch.
Yeah. And, so let's make it easy for people to discover us with this technology. What is the one thing that everybody has in their hand that they carry with them 24/7?
A phone.
A phone. So they're not reading newspapers like they did unless they read them online. They're not, running to the store to get a bunch of magazines anymore. They're listening to radio on their iPhone or on their laptop or iPad. So why aren't let us direct all our marketing to this electronic device and use the technology that makes us live to these people so they can listen and they can interact. I got to tell you something. What I discovered is that Meerkat, Periscope, and Blab are addictive to people. Once they start following you and they get notifications that, hey, Claude is on, Cameron's on with a new topic about how to qualify a prospect in 3 minutes, and they get a little notification banner on their iPhone, guess what? They're watching you, and then they're Twitter, and then they're going to Twitter their friends and say, watch this guy. And you exponentially just grow and grow and grow.
Listen, I'm not crazy enough to think that I know everything, and one of the reasons that I wanted to start this podcast is because I wanted to meet people like you, because you simply don't know what you don't know. And I think by meeting with people like you, you get to find out a lot of cool stuff. And in fact, as you were just saying that, I just got an email from Stephen Key, who wrote One Simple Idea. But I'm telling you right now, this is like literally blowing my mind.
You can take your podcast and put it on steroids, okay? You can take it to the 5th, the 10th, the 20th power. See, you have a lot of great podcasts. I've been listening to them. I am a follower of Rise to Mastery. I love interviews. I learn stuff every day. I know that I don't know everything, and I want to stay contemporary for the sake of my clients. And the thing about it is, are we getting whatever medium we're using, blogging, podcasting, YouTube, Twittering, whatever, are we multiplying that in other medium?
Okay, so really quickly, because I do want to get into your gut sales
Oh,
system and things like
oh,
that.
now you're preaching
Really
to the
quickly,
choir.
with all the stuff that we've just been talking about, and this is not by no means going to be the end of the conversation. I don't care if I have to come to your house and hang out with you and Mrs. Diamond. I'm going to interview you again. But really quickly, who like is there any business who can't utilize and use these new technologies that you just mentioned for their business? Because we work with a lot of, let's say you're a plumber, right? If you're a plumber or a lawyer or a chiropractor, or you have your own mom and pop store, or you're a dentist, I don't care, if can those types of businesses use this technology as well to help with their marketing?
Well, think about it. What do I'm going to ask a question. I'm sorry, I'm a Socratic teacher. Sometimes I answer questions with questions. What do you think when somebody needs a plumber or a chiropractor and they're new in town or they've never used one before? What's the first thing they do? They
They probably Google it with
they
their phone.
Google it, right? So if they see that Claude or Cameron, the chiropractor, just put an article on the 5 most important things to protect your back, 5 ways you can save hundreds of dollars on doing your own plumbing, and you do a video, a podcast, and it came out this week so that it's high in the Google search rankings. Google's algorithms are designed to be contemporary and geographically centric. So if you live in Omaha and you do a search for the plumber who just did a video, a podcast, a blab, or whatever, that person is going to come to the top of the list. And they're going to read that story about the 5 ways to save hundreds of dollars on plumbing, or how to do things yourself, or preventive maintenance for the winter. And they're going to read that article and they're going to say, that Cameron the plumber, this is a good guy. Maybe I should call him. He gave me this free information. I owe him. There's something in psychology, in sales, that is called reciprocity. So if somebody puts out content that is of value to people without commercializing it, being obnoxious, okay, that doesn't it sound to me? Don't you like to work in the place where everybody knows your name? When you go to a restaurant and everybody says, "Hi, Mr. Benson, good to see you again. How is Mrs. Benson? How is your business?" Don't you love that place? Don't you want to keep coming back?
On the Mrs. Benson, we haven't talked to Gina about that yet.
Okay, I can. Hey, listen, it's Colorado. I can marry you.
So
another podcast.
Yeah, we might have to save that for the private podcast.
But
so really quickly,
yeah.
Can you do me a favor before we get into your guts marketing? Can you ask your audience right now live? Can you ask them if they have any questions for me, and we'll just do one of those kind of off the shoulder. Ask them if they have any questions for me about podcasting, about whatever. I have answers for it because I'm really good at just talking about stuff.
Hey guys, Cameron's never done this before. Shoot me a question for Cameron from RiseToMastery.com. He's a smart dude. Somebody give me a question here right now.
Okay, as those questions come in, can you tell us a little bit about what you do at ClaudeDiamond.com and how people can find out more about you and kind of just your sales system? Because I know you're heavy into sales, and it's too bad Kenny wasn't here because he's a big sales guy too.
The bottom line, ClaudeDiamond.com is a webpage. We've got a lot of pictures. I've got the videos that I like to do. I obviously talk very fast. I'm a transplanted New Yorker. You know what I'm saying here. And I like to give away a lot of information. I'll give you a free newsletter, a free book. I will even give anybody who wants to schedule on my webpage a free 30-minute consultation. It's okay to say no to me. You don't have an obligation to take my program or anything. It's a way of me introducing myself to you. So go to the webpage and look it over and see some videos and have some fun and get a free book or newsletter on that. Sean Osby asks, what is the focus of Rise to Mastery?
Hey, Sean, thanks for asking the question, man. Our focus, most of our audience is business owners and entrepreneurs who want to just learn new strategies and ways with experts like Claude about how to increase their business, grow their business. But we also believe, Kenny and I, my co-host, who unfortunately